Hi, this is Brandon Spillane from thirstgym.com. Today we're talking about exercise called the hurdle hop, and particularly hurdle hops in general with multiple ones. So what we're going to try to do here is work on improving our reactivity and use this plyometric and power exercise to become more springy, increase the elasticity of the tendons, and overall to try to make you jump higher and be a better, faster athlete. So to kick things off, you don't have to have 3 hurdles. You can have 2, you can have 8, you can have low, short, really high ones. Really all depends upon 1, what you have access to, and 2, what you're trying to get from the hurdles. So the more hurdles you have, the more elastic you're going to become because you're able to string stuff more together. You know, if you really just want to work on 2 big maximum jumps and trying to work on limit ground contact from big jumps, then you can go with less than, like in this case. Or you can work on trying to jump lower and higher and having more variability in your jumps, because as we know, sport is very random. We don't know what's going to happen. So being able to mix in some different jumps might be a little bit more quote-unquote sport specific. But overall, that's up to you and your coach and how you're going to implement that. Like I said, for today's ease, I just grabbed 3 24-inch hurdles, and we use all sorts of different types of hurdles and combinations here at Thirst. So you have that option available to you, and we'll talk about ground contacts, in a minute in terms of how we kind of pick our programming based on what's kind of going on. So to show you how this goes here, our main thing that we want to make sure that we do is that we limit the amount of time that we're on the ground. So the goal is to not just hit the ground and be stuck. We want to kind of be springy as we go over them. So I'm going to start on this side. I want to make sure I use my hands, really get my knees up, get some good quality hip flexion, and really make sure I get over the hurdles each time. And so that would be my set. What we don't want to do is we don't want to jump over and, like I said, hit really hard. So we don't want them to look like this. So notice I'm taking a lot of time between each rep. So I'm kind of losing the elastic properties that we're trying to build. So if that's what my athlete looked like, I don't want to drop the hurdles down a little bit and try to make them look more fluid. As we work with our athletes, we want to try to make sure that we progress athletes into an exercise like this. This is not something we throw somebody into day one. If we're working with an advanced athlete, we might, but generally with most kids and athletes that we start working with, we start with lower level plyometric work and build them into exercises like this, because as we know, some kids can do well with this and others can't. So just understand the athlete that's in front of you and understand and tell them what the goal of the exercise is, that we're trying to get springy. So we need to be springy. We don't want those big heavy feet when we're hitting. When it comes to programming for us, we really try to count total ground contacts for the particular exercise or the session that we're doing. So something like this, we also have to keep in mind, what are we kind of shooting for here in terms of height of hurdles? Am I working with an athlete that's jumping very high? We're getting some really hard ground contacts. We may not want to string as many of these together. Especially if we happen to be in season and we know they're already jumping a lot. If they're out of season, that's another thing. So that's just one way to look at it. When I'm looking at ground contacts in a given session, I generally try to look for about 25 to 35 on average. If we're in off season with a more advanced kid, I'll push those ground contacts more, and vice versa. I'll pull them down for younger athletes and kids that happen to be in season. So typically this is an exercise I like out of season because I know that they're not getting a ton of ground contacts in their sport. It's like a sport like basketball. We know they're on the hardwood jumping all day long. I'm not really going to try to jump them all that much in here with the hurdles. I might choose a box jump variation, as I know that's going to help still train triple extension, but decrease the amount of forces we're going to put through them. So just make sure you understand from your programming standpoint what you're looking at. Generally, we like 3, 4, sometimes 5 hurdles, and generally we're programming anywhere from about 2 to 4 reps per set for about 3 to 5 sets, depending upon how many hurdles we've got and all those other kind of variations. So this is a great exercise, very common. You probably see it a lot. Just make sure that you're understanding what you're trying to get from it, which is trying to be springy, explosive, athletic, and that we're having good quality jumps and we're minimizing ground contact time, and you're going to really benefit from this exercise. If you got any questions about hurdle hops specifically, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.